Hello, I'm Jackie, and along with my husband Mick, we set up hedonistic hiking almost 20 years ago now. What I'd like to do today is to give you a brief introduction about hedonistic hiking and then focus on the tours that have availability for next year, 2026. So, as I said, we set up at the company ourselves, combining three of our greatest passions in life: food, wine, and walking. Whichever tour you decide to do, you will always find that each of those elements feature highly on the tour itineraries. Mick and I met in Italy, and nowadays we spend half our time in Italy and half our time in Australia. We feel very lucky to call both hemispheres home. One thing that does make hedonistic hiking different from other companies is that we are very small, and right from the get-go, we decided that because we love what we do, we are the ones who will design the tours, research the tours, and then when the guests join us on the tours, either Mick or myself will be your leader. We do, of course, have a team that helps us. We have a very small team of fabulous people who we call our tour managers or our angels, and they're the ones who provide the picnic lunch, prepare the picnic lunch, drive the support vehicle, and liaise with the hotels and the restaurants. So we work very closely as a team. But today I'm focusing on our tours in Europe. We have lived in Italy since the year 2000, so initially all of our tours were solely focused on Italy, where we have a great knowledge, many friends, lots of really useful contacts, and so we really drew on that to create these unique itineraries to show our guests the best that each region has to offer. As we've expanded, we have started to introduce some tours just across the border, for example, in Slovenia, France, or Austria. And on those tours, we'll start in those countries, but then hike back over the mountains into Italy. We now also have a tour on the island of Corsica, the French island, and new for 2025 was a tour in northern England. Our groups are small, hailing from English-speaking countries around the world, a maximum of 16 guests on all tours. The photos on our websites are genuine photos, so you only need to look at the photos to see more or less the type of person that you're going to be hiking with. I would say our average age would be early 60s, but once you're in your hiking boots, then age ceases to be relevant. And we have guests in their 50s, sometimes younger, and into their 70s and beyond. What really is the most important thing is everyone has that joint passion for the food, wine, and walking. On the tours, you'll find that we have some couples, we also have friends traveling together, and singles too. It is a great holiday if you are a single traveler because you have company when you would like it, but there is plenty of time to enjoy your own company if you would prefer to do so. We grade the hikes. There's lots of information about this on the website, 5 being the most challenging and 1 being the least challenging. Because we research and design the tours ourselves, we ourselves will be able to advise you on which tour would be best for you. Our website gives you some ideas about how to prepare and plan for your trip, also what to bring and what to pack. So level 5, the most challenging, that's usually in an alpine area. There may not be van access at lunchtime, so there is a little bit less flexibility in the day's itinerary. It's not just the length of the walk, more importantly, it's the type of terrain, the amount of ascent and descent, and as I've just said, the accessibility to the support vehicle during the day. From level 3 downwards to level 1, it is more leisurely, more rolling hills, and on the longer days, you will always meet the vans, or on every day, you'll always meet the support vehicle at lunchtime. And on the longer days, you will probably have, if possible, the opportunity to walk a half morning or finish up earlier in the afternoon than the rest of the group if you would like to do so. We We are walking on trails the whole time. No, it is hiking as opposed to walking. We very rarely walk on tarmac roads, so you do need to have a pretty good sense of balance and work on cardio fitness in preparation for the holiday. However, where there is a stick, there's always a carrot, and for many people, it is the joy of turning a corner, coming to a spectacular view, and seeing a wonderful picnic table laden with fresh, healthy produce, which the tour manager has prepared for you for the lunch. So, wonderful salads, cheeses, salamis, and a glass of local wine and some wonderful breads as well. So, very healthy, very nutritious to sustain you whilst you rest with a beautiful view before the afternoon's activities. Food and wine in the Mediterranean are a match made in heaven, and so we focus very much on small suppliers, many of whom have become our friends over the years. Wonderful wines, wonderful vegetables, fruits, cheeses, salamis, all sorts of things we will search out for you so that you really get to feel that you are walking through the menu on the tour. In the evenings, we eat in a variety of restaurants, sometimes casual, sometimes more elegant, often a Michelin star experience as well. We choose the menus in advance so that we ensure that you get to taste the best foods that there are to have in each region. During your holiday, you'll stay in 2 or 3 different accommodations. So you are always in a hotel for at least 2 nights, sometimes up to 4 nights. We choose the best accommodation in the village or the town or the area where we are. And by the best, we like to think that they are the most charming, the most friendly, authentic. Often we would fill the hotel, so they'll be small, they'll be many times family run, and if not, certainly locally run. And we've known these hotels for many, many years, and they've become great friends over time. So we love going back there, and they love to welcome our guests too. We're not just walking all day, every day. Every evening, we'll chat about the next day's activities. Some day it is a walk, morning and afternoon. Other days we'll drop in to see a castle, to see a winery, have a wine tasting, or join with a local chef and learn to make some of the local specialities, and then dine on the fruits of our labour. So on the website, it will tell you where the tour starts and ends, and we will meet you in 2 minibuses, just like you see in the photos there. We use those minibuses to take you each day to the start of the walk, pick you up at the end of the walk. Sometimes we walk from the accommodation itself. These minibuses are fabulous because it allows us to access the best walking in the area. So we start in a place close to an airport and or train station, and then the tour will always start in the morning, 9, 10 o'clock, and from that moment on, you are feeling like you're on holiday. So we hit the ground running. We'll include something in the morning, whether it's a hike, whether it's a visit, and we all sit down at lunch on the first day. So you're already starting to get to know your fellow travellers, and by the time you check into the hotel, you are really in holiday mode. So without further ado, let me tell you where we have places left. We're almost 90% booked for 2026, so do get in touch soon if you would like to join us. So the first tour of the year is Etruscan Trails in central Italy, starting and finishing in Rome. That's where we meet you and drop you off at the end. And we're heading to the areas north of Rome, Lazio, Umbria and Tuscany. 3 different hotels, beautiful spring flowers, lovely lush and green. We visit Orvieto, visit there with a local guide. We explore also the Etruscan history of the area. We stay on a volcanic lake, and then the last hotel is near the town of Montepulciano, which of course is famous for its wines. We visit some beautiful gardens along the way, La Foce, which look absolutely magnificent in the spring. So wines are great, food is great, and it's a lovely time of year to be there. It's a level 3 tour, as is this one too. Once again, only one place available on this one, and we visit 3 medieval towns, Lucca, San Gimignano, Volterra, and then at the end of the week we take the ferry across to the island of Elba. So wonderful walking through history, some beautiful little places to visit, beautiful wines to discover. We take you to Bolgheri, which is down towards the coast and a really innovative area for winemaking. And from there, we take a ferry across to Elba when we're in an absolutely magnificent hotel on the Bir Biodola in Elba. And from there we have a brilliant hike across the spine of the island and a time to relax also and explore Portoferraio and the history of Napoleon when he was on the island. So lovely variation. Moving through the year, we then head to Corsica. We've got one room available on this, so twin share. Corsica is often referred to as the mountain in the sea. It's a granite island, so quite rugged hiking, but really spectacular with wonderful coastal views. We stay in 3 hotels down in the south, and then on the west coast, and then inland as well. Beautiful food to enjoy along the way, a combination of seafood, but then more sort of mountain food when we're in the centre. Lots of wonderful long distance trails in Corsica, and so we do see other hikers on this holiday, and we touch on 2 of the long distance trails, the Mare Mare and also the GR20, which is one of the more rugged trails. Corsica has some wonderful rivers and beautiful rock pools to cool off in along the way, so it's really a really stunning place where to hike. So the next tour with just one place available is in June, Slovenia and Friuli. So we start in the capital of Slovenia. We meet you in Ljubljana, and then from there we are staying in 2 hotels in Slovenia before hiking over the mountains back into Italy. It's a stunning area, the Julian Alps, with some beautiful turquoise rivers, which we can enjoy in the views. And June is springtime there, so wonderful alpine flowers everywhere, and we hike over the mountain and back to Italy. Italy, of course, is renowned for food and wine, but Slovenia too does not disappoint. We have a wonderful selection of wines and also some delicious food to accompany it. Later in June, we move to the more challenging hiking as we're going higher up into the Alps. We just have one place left. A booking just came in, so just one place left for a single traveller on this one. France and the Maritime Alps starts in Nice, and then we finish in Turin in Piedmont. So once again, a cross border culture, spectacular hiking, lots of mountain peaks, but wonderful lakes, and lots of flora and fauna as well. We see more animals on this tour than any other tour. We see ibex, we see marmots. It's not uncommon to see golden eagles flying overhead. So really a superb experience, and quite unusual to think that we're really so close to the Côte d'Azur down and the beaches of Nice. So wonderful vistas all along the way. Not all hiking though. So as we come to the last destination, 3 different hotels. We're in Italy in Cuneo, and we join with a local chef and learn how to make some of the unique pasta to Piedmont. Piedmont also, of course, is known for its wonderful wines. Also alpine, starting and finishing in Turin, follows on from the France and the Maritime Alps. We've a couple of spots available on this tour, and it really is quintessential alpine hiking. We're in the shadow of the great mountains of the Alps, such as Mont Blanc, the Monte Rosa, and the Matterhorn as well, and close to France, although we don't go into France, and wonderful cuisine with wonderful wines to match. On one day, we take you up in a cable car to 3,500 meters, where you feel you can almost touch the highest mountain of Europe, Mont Blanc. And 3 different hotels, and the final one especially has these most amazing spa facilities, and they're a wonderful place to unwind at the end of a hike in the mountains. The next availability we have is later in the year, one place available on Parma, Tuscany and the Ligurian Sea. We meet you in Parma, famous for the Parmesan cheese and the prosciutto, of course, and we finish in Pisa. So 3 different hotels. Starting with a wonderful food fair. Autumn is a brilliant time to be in Italy because all of the produce, they have different markets, and it's wonderful to experience this. We're in Borgotaro for the Fiera, the fair of the porcini mushroom, which is great fun. We also see Parmesan cheese being made. The hiking is very varied, sometimes with coastal views, but we do a long section, quite a challenging section, but a really rewarding section of the Via Francigena, the pilgrim trail that goes right the way through the spine of Italy to finish in Rome. So we do a day's section of that, which is really wonderful. And then at the end of the week, we end up on the coast, on the Gulf of Poets, just across the bay from the Cinque Terre villages. And it's lovely to arrive there, to dip in the sea. And it's a lovely time to arrive because it's quite quiet by then, as most of the tourists have left. So it's a wonderful place to wind down at the end of the week. A little bit more leisurely is our Tuscan harvest. Only 2 different hotels. We're really hiking in the area close to where we live here in Italy. So we love to introduce you to our favourite walks, to our favourite people, and some spectacular restaurants as well. So more leisurely, rolling hills, some longer days, but always the option of that support vehicle too. We take you to Siena, one of my favourite cities, and so the day that we move from one hotel to the next, we visit this stunning city. The first hotel is in the Tuscan countryside, in the Chianti countryside, and the second hotel is in a small little medieval town. Beautiful food and wine along the way. We're in the heart of Chianti, and we finish with an absolutely spectacular dining experience at Arnolfo restaurant, one of the few restaurants in Italy with 2 Michelin stars. So we have a little bit of availability towards the end of the season in October. It's a wonderful time of year to visit Italy, to visit Europe, because many of the tourists have headed home. Everything's just that little bit quieter, and the weather is still usually pretty good. So you're walking in wonderful sunny days, and yet it's not too hot. So the first of the tours I'd like to tell you about is southern Italy, in the instep of the heel in a region called Basilicata. Wonderful wild scenery, coastal views, the Pollino National Park. Start on the west coast and then into the national park and then finish on the east coast. And autumn colours abound. The final hotel is in Matera, which is a really charming city, and there we sleep in caves. Each cave has been designed as a unique and memorable hotel bedroom. Matera itself was a city where all the residents used to live in these little caves sort of dug out of the mountainside, and then as things developed, they moved out and moved into more normal dwellings, so to speak, and a lot of the caves have been converted into these unique and charming hotels. And at the same time as the southern Italy, we are also up in the north in Lombardy. So we start and finish in Bergamo, which was the European capital of culture a few years ago. And then from there we stay in 3 different hotels. The first 2 are close to Lake Iseo, a small, unspoiled lake, and on the shores of the lake is where a lot of the vines are grown to make the Franciacorta, Italy's first sparkling wine made in the traditional method, and we enjoy a wonderful wine tasting, and there are amazing wines in this region. So the sparkling from Franciacorta, and then further north in the Valtellina they make some beautiful reds as well. The hiking is partly through vineyards to start with, and then we get into the mountains towards the end of the week and go across into Switzerland on a spectacular train ride to then hike back into Italy. And more leisurely, to wrap up the season, the Jewels of Piedmont. We just have a couple of spots available on this, and it's late in the season, but it's a wonderful time to be there. The colours in the vineyards are spectacular, And it's a time of year in Piedmont when everyone's excited because the grapes have been picked, the wine's in the barrels, and it's truffle time as well. We stay in 2 hotels, beautiful hotels. We take you up into the mountains to on a challenging but not too challenging hike to give you that wonderful mountain experience. But then we're in the vineyards and with Marco and his truffle dogs as well. So we hunt for the elusive white truffle of Alba, and then we take it to Raffaella, who runs a cooking class, and we shave it over the pasta that we have just made. Really spectacular. So that's right at the end of the year. So our website will give you all the information that you need, and the prices are all there. They're all inclusive prices. So from the moment that we meet you on day one to when we drop you off at the end of the holiday, it is an all-inclusive experience. So those are the tours that we still have a few spots on. It's ever changing, so do get in touch if a tour that you are interested in is not mentioned there, or if you'd like to be added to a waiting list. 2027, the tour dates will come out at the beginning of next year, in January 2026. As I keep saying, lots of information on the website, and I'm always at the end of the email. So if you have a question for either Mick or myself, we're ready to answer them. And I hope that we will hear from you soon and welcome you to Hedonistic Hiking next year. Thank you.